talk to our panel of current ladies who are super moms themselves. Welcome, moms.
Thank you.
So glad to have you here today. Happy Mother's Day to everyone.
Happy Mother's Day to you.
Thank you. What a blessing it is to be a mom, right?
Yes.
What are some of your observations about being moms? Was it what you thought it was going to be? Were there some surprises along the way? What's it like being a mom?
But somebody didn't tell me it was going to be exhausting. Where was that when I read that book?
It is.
You know, when I was a little girl, I couldn't wait to be a mom, and I think it's because I lost my mom at such a young age. I was 6 when my mom passed away, and so I think for me, I just wanted to recreate that home of what I never had, and I grew up to see what a mom looked like. I watched what's that show that was on TV about the Little House on the Prairie? Do you remember that?
Sure.
And you know, it's funny because I actually married a man that sort of reminds me of him.
Really?
Yeah, when you think about Sean. And so for me, I just couldn't wait to be a mom, just to create that atmosphere in the home where there was love and just excitement. They're my best friends, but it doesn't mean that it's not tough and that there's not days that you have to send everybody to the rooms and go, that's enough, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, I clearly had a wonderful mom. I had a wonderful upbringing, and so super grateful
thank
for
you.
my childhood and my continued childhood, being a child of you. And
I do treat you like a child.
You do.
You're right.
And I feel like moms never stop being a mom.
And I want you to understand that, because you will. You really will do that with your own children one day. Right now you think, oh, it's so annoying. You know, my mom continues to treat me like a little girl, but that's just what we do. And I'm sorry we do that.
okay.
I do know you're grown up.
I appreciate you coming into my house while I'm cooking and turning my stove up and down. And I mean, without fail. You even did it yesterday.
I did it yesterday.
I had some chicken in the slow cooker, and she came in and she's like, oh, I turned that down because it was starting to scorch on the bottom. Thank you.
Can I just tell you that the other day, yesterday, yes, I did do that without asking. That might have been bad, but I did think it was going to scorch. The other day, she left something in the oven, and I turned off the oven for you because you were going to be gone like 2 hours. Did you know that? Do you remember that?
No.
And Chris was coming home, and I told Chris, I said, luckily for you, I turned off your oven.
appreciate that.
The chicken Parmesan.
Well, thank you.
Did you not know that you did that?
That's why it wasn't done.
Are you serious?
I don't know.
It wasn't very good. I didn't
We're working it all out on the TV here.
See, but this is the deal about moms, right?
Yeah.
Right? Okay, we'll talk about some of your situations. We'll get away from us, Kristen, for a while.
Kristen, thank you so much for sharing your mother with us. Because she's not just your mom,
I know,
she's our mom.
Yeah, I know.
I sent Barbara a message earlier this week, and her response back to me was classic mom. She said, no, I want you there. And it's like, I sent her a message back, and I said, thank you, Mom.
You did, right.
But I agree, Barbara. I'm the mother of adult children as well. Have young people at home, but I have adult children. And it is hard, Kristen, to take that step back and say, they're adults, let them do their own thing, and not come in and adjust your temperature on your pot. It's very difficult. And it's something that, a lot of people struggle with, because how do you let go after you have taken care of them for so long? You guys remember, I almost died when little Alan left and went to college, remember?
Yeah. Oh, it's
It
hard.
was very, very difficult. So I can only, you guys have no idea what you're in for when they get
No, we
older.
don't. We're learning through you guys, though.
It's not easy, Barbara.
But they think they want that emptiness to happen. And
No, we don't.
No, we don't.
No,
No, my heart is about to break. I only have a year and a half before Anna Kate leaves, and I can cry thinking about her leaving. And I will say lately, my Anna Kate's been going through something, and when your children are sad, I couldn't sleep. I mean, it is amazing, and I kept thinking about how the Lord loves us. Like, I can't, how much we love our children, and how much more our Father loves us. It really gave me and then I remember my mom saying, it's the worst when you're hurting. And I was thinking, you don't understand, Mom, but she did.
Yeah.
And so it's really been a real tender couple weeks,
that's sweet.
watching your child be sad and realizing that only God can help her, sometimes. But just being there and loving on her is what I've
So
had
would
to
you
do.
say that's been your biggest challenge, being a mom, maybe those kinds of things when your children are hurting? Because to me, that would be maybe one of my biggest challenges.
I think that, and knowing when to really be a mom and when to try to be a fun. I mean, I've never wanted to be her friend necessarily, but yet she'll call me one of her best friends, and I think that's so great. But you know, I have to be the parent first. I think it's just balancing that, because you know, and then the other thing is, I don't know about you guys, but as they get older, you feel like you can be more friends, and then you realize I still have to be a good example. Like, you know, the other day she caught me doing something that I really shouldn't have been doing, and you know, she called me out on it, and I was like, yes, because we still always, well, we should be a good example always, but you know, as your children get older, they're like, they can call you out like a friend can and say, whoa, you tell me I can't do that, and why are you doing that?
Boy, we're all sitting here going, wonder what it was.
I'm not telling you.
I cannot
That's
even
another show. That's another show.
We'll say
This is not
have one of those
confessions of the ladies here today.
So other challenges, what are some?
Well, you know, we've talked about this before, but also Mother's Day can also be a tough time for
Yes.
people who have lost their moms. Did you have some other women come around you when you were growing up that were like surrogate moms for you?
You know, I would say that I've had a lot of moms, and see, I want to choke up. I don't want to choke up today, but your mom has been that to me. It's like you said, when she sends little emails out, or she'll send me out private ones, like after we do something together, just saying, I just see Jesus in you, and you are such, just all those sweet things that you say that's just so mothering, that I think that's what a mother would be doing. And yeah, I think that there is times that I felt like I missed out on, and sometimes my sister, growing up, I pretended like she was my mom just because I didn't want to feel left out at times, because there's certain things that society makes you think, well, this is normal. And for a lot of us out there, we just didn't have that kind of norm. I know there's people out there right now who are going through that, and it's a struggle. But you know, God promises to be a mother, a father, and He'll bring people in. And what I have found is, even in my loss, God has come in and given me things, and even in my weaknesses, He's shown me strengths that I had inside myself, or I've seen Him in a different way, that I think I have a different relationship with Him because of the struggle that I've been through. But boy, it makes me now just want to give my kids everything that I didn't have, you know, and just to be there for them. Sometimes I feel like I sacrifice running, like you and I will talk, you know, we're running 50 miles a day, you know, just trying to make sure the kids are made feel special, and they, each one of them, you put their time and their love language in them. And then I lay down in bed and I'm like, I'm exhausted, you know, but it's true.
Where's the balance between making your children feel loved and teaching them to honor you, and not to feel like they're the center of the universe? I know that was really one of my challenges, Leanne, because I adored my two daughters so much, and I really felt like I elevated them, maybe sometimes more than I should have, placing them before my husband, because there are times when you just have to do that. And so that, to me, how do you all do that and manage that and not make your children the center of your world?
I think when they're young, they are the center of your world.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if there's any getting around that, because when they're young, you have to take care of them, and you have to put their needs sometimes ahead of your own and even your husband's.
That's true.
Because especially when they're infants, they can't take care of themselves.
Right.
So I think that's a season in our life, Barbara.
Okay.
And then I think you get to a point, because I know based on where we are right now, there are times when I will say to my boys, you figure out what you're eating for dinner. Dad and I are going out for dinner. Why? Because we're at a point now where I don't have to do everything for them.
Good.
And then the other side of that is, it's very difficult not to put your children on the pedestal.
Yes.
Because when you're looking at that newborn baby, that baby is the most special and the most precious thing in the world. I was like you. My mother passed away when I was very young. And so having a family and having children of my own was very important to me. And I poured my heart into making sure that I did my very best for those children, and to make sure that they knew that I loved them and that nothing was going to separate me from them. Even this morning, my husband and I had a conversation, and I had to say to him, I'm not going to be in the middle between my husband and my children. So there's certain conversations we won't even have, because I don't want to be put in that position. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I would add too, it's super important, I think, that you keep a date night with your husband, or and we have a lot of friends and we do a lot of things with friends, and I'll say, you guys are on your own, or we have plans. I think that it's sometimes hard when moms or dads put their children ahead of everything, and then they go off to college. I've seen it, and then they're kind of at a loss. Their marriage is at a loss. I mean, I just think it's really important that you balance that. And so we'll have, maybe one night where the kids, all right, you guys get to call it, and we won't go out with our friends. But I just think it's good to have some balance there.
Well, and when my kids were really young, we were really restarting over in our lives, so finances just weren't there. I don't know if anybody else relates to that, but we had to either work with other couples to try to offset, or we would just try to make things that maybe we'd meet during the day and do a lunch while the kids were at school, or you have to get creative, because I do feel that even though I love our children and it's so great, but I know that they will be gone, and it's so important for my husband and I to keep that, and I think it's important for our children to see what a healthy marriage looks like, of two people sticking together, making it. And the only way you do that is to spend time together and feed each other that way.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say, Chris and I try to have good conversation when he comes home that the kids can be a part of, but they also need to listen. But I was also thinking, too, when I get up early in the morning and have my quiet time, if the kids wake up, they know that's my time with the Lord. And they're welcome to come in and they're welcome to sit and read quietly with me. But I've really tried to guard that and protect that. And I think hopefully that's an example to them that relationship with Jesus, with the Lord, is more important. Yeah. I love them so much, but my relationship with God is more important, and that's going to be a priority. And I hope for them it becomes a priority in their life. But I think just leading by example, what everyone's saying, I think that's such a great.
Well, that was going to be my next question, Kristen. That's so good you brought it up. What role does faith play in your role as a mom? How are you modeling Jesus to them? And that's great for your example. What are some of the other tactics and strategies that you all are using to model Jesus?
Can I say one more thing?
Sure.
About the pedestal? Because I don't know if I've said this before, but I realize that I am a pedestal putter. That's what I call myself these days. And I have to work super hard, and it can be anything. It can be success and money and my children at some point, my husband at some point, and God will go at great lengths to pull them off the pedestal. So you need to grab them off the pedestal before he pushes them off the pedestal, because he's the only one that should be on there. But that's just an important thing, not to get your kids up there on that pedestal, because it's not good when God, I think, has to pull them off.
Yeah.
So, but I'll go back to your question though. Faith, I think your kids seeing you do quiet times every Friday morning when we have my prayer group at my house. I love it when my kids kind of are stirring and they know that we're praying for them. And these women have been doing it for years. And I think just even getting up, going to church, just the little things that we do, week to week, I think show them how important it is.
The other week I got hurt by some friends, and it was funny because we pulled all the kids together, and I was sort of, I was hurt. I was definitely hurt, and we talked about it as a family. And I said, guys, I don't want to take offense to this. And we talked about the Word and what the Word says about taking offense and how would Jesus want us. And I think it's sometimes living out our struggles in front of our children, not acting like everything's perfect, but going to the Word together and saying, let's seek this out. How would God want us to respond? Because it's real life. We're living real life as real moms, but trying to live in a real way that glorifies God.
Yeah. Different for Deborah, because your husband's a pastor and your kids are seeing Jesus all the time, all week long. Maybe there's a balance for you the other way.
But I agree with what you're saying. A lot of times, particularly for pastors' children, what you see is church. Yeah. And that is not necessarily faith.
That's right.
And so we bring home, or we start at home, what we teach and preach at church. And so having prayer with our children and having those transparent conversations where we're able to say, okay, if we're struggling in this area, then this is what the Word says, and this is how we're going to apply it. So we don't do it in reverse. It's not preach it at church and then try to figure it out. We walk it out at home And so the messages that go forth at church really, in a lot of cases, have to do with what we are dealing with and what we've gone through in our personal lives. And so our kids know that the messages that are going forth, they're real.
Deborah, I would love to be a fly on the wall in your home.
Oh,
I think your home is so cool, and you were such a great mom, a super mom, and a grandmother as
And a grandma-
well.
Yes, Barbara, we
and
are.
So we are grandmothers and proud of it and happy to be. But you know, you all are living it, and I love you ladies so much, and I thank you so much for your transparency and your ability to be the kinds of moms and role models that you are to our children. Viewers, you know that the Bible says to talk to your children when you're on the road, when you're lying down, when you're sitting up, when you're doing whatever you're doing. All along the way, we need to be talking to our children about Jesus. These ladies are modeling that. I know that so many of you are as well.